mortuary. Also coming up, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman expresses concern over growing pollution of Ghana's seas, blaming illegal mining activities and widespread plastic pollution. We have the details of these stories and more. Please don't go away. Thanks to you for choosing GHOne News. I am El-Nurein Abass. Now, the management of the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital has announced that it will conduct a mass burial for some 320 unclaimed and unknown bodies currently at the hospital's mortuary. According to the hospital, the mass burial has become necessary following a congestion of the mortuary due to non-collection of these bodies, which has caused the facility to reach its full capacity. Management of the hospital is therefore calling on relatives, next of kin, or any person or persons with interest in any of these bodies to contact the hospital by 18th January 2026 to make necessary arrangements. The hospital says all bodies remaining unclaimed by the deadline will be buried in accordance with approved procedure and relevant authorities. Away from that, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman has expressed concern over the growing pollution of Ghana's seas, blaming illegal mining activities known as galamsey and widespread plastic waste dumping. She warned that the situation poses a serious threat to marine life and the livelihoods of fisherfolk, calling for urgent collective action to protect the country's water resources. The Vice President made these remarks during a working visit to the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture.
Ghana's fishing industry remains a vital pillar of the national economy, providing livelihoods for millions of Ghanaians and serving as a major source of affordable protein for households across the country. The sector is dominated by artisanal inshore and industrial fishing, with coastal and inland communities heavily dependent on fishing and fish processing for survival. During a visit to the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman highlighted the need to protect the fishery sector, stressing that ensuring equitable benefits for grassroots stakeholders must remain a national priority. She, however, bemoaned the growing pollution of Ghana's marine environment.
But we also know the threats that the sea environment faces. Galamsey, seeping into the sea. That's not something we should encourage at all. We also have plastics, having a good time. Even more importantly too, if not equally important, toxic waste in our seas. Who is dumping what? Why wouldn't all of these affect the livelihood of the fishes, that we need to feed ourselves?
The Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, on her part, highlighted the need for greater investment in aquaculture to complement the mainstream fishing.
But there's fish depletion, fish stock depletion, so we have to intervene. Because of the depletion, there's less supply of fish to meet the demand of fish naturally that we need. It's a matter of food security, it's a matter of national health, it's a matter of national security. So to be able to complement, we have to focus big time on aquaculture.
The visit by the Vice President forms part of government's broader efforts to strengthen the fishery sector and enhance food security across the country.
Now, the Accra Regional Police Command has arrested a suspect linked to a string of thefts at the recently held Diaspora Summit 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center. The arrest of Regan Kwesi Egui Ado, a.k.a. Morgan Ado, followed a covert police operation launched after multiple complaints from participants over stolen electronic devices and personal valuables.
That suspect employs deceptive methods to steal ATM cards. He allegedly manipulates situations at the ATM locations to make transactions difficult for users, after which he approaches victims under the pretext of offering assistance and swaps their ATM cards. Investigations indicate that suspect has withdrawn unspecified amounts of money using stolen ATM cards at several ATM locations. He also suspected of stealing ATM cards and other valuables during conference meetings by accessing participants' bags and laptops, particularly during break hours. Further investigations that led us to the residence of the suspect at Ashali Butri. A search was conducted, and the search led us to the recovery of 8 ATM cards belonging to different individuals. Recovered ATM cards have been retained as exhibits for further investigations. Police will formally engage the respective banks to assist in tracing rightful owners of the cards to support our ongoing investigations. Meanwhile, the command assures the general public of its commitment to protecting lives and properties, particularly during public gatherings and major events, and during, before, and after the festive celebrations. While adequate police presence is provided to ensure security, the command cautions the general public to remain vigilant, keep their personal belongings and valuables under close supervision at all times.
In other stories this morning, the Ghana Private Road Transport Union has issued a firm warning to commercial drivers against charging fares above approved rates, urging passengers to resist any unauthorized increment and report offending operators. According to the union, fare adjustment follow a clear and transparent process and are officially communicated to the public to avoid confusion and abuse. The warning comes amid mounting complaints from commuters across several urban centers where drivers are accused of charging arbitrary fees or fares, raising fresh concerns about monitoring, enforcement and discipline within the public transport system. We have on the phone Abass Imoro, who is Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Good morning to you, sir. Now, what enforcement measures is the GPRTU putting in place to prevent drivers from charging illegal fares, especially seeing that this is not happening today, and it's an annual thing?
Good morning to you and all listeners. You see, Ghana, you have laws governing the country. And if anybody does, we keep saying that the passengers should insist and pay the right fare that they are supposed to pay. The driver refuses. They should report to any police officer. You see, currently there are many police officers around the country. Almost everywhere you meet a police officer.
Mr. Imoro, can you please speak up for me?
Okay. What we are saying is that is not allowed. We are being governed by law in the country. So if anybody charges above what he is supposed to charge, the passengers should insist on paying the right lorry fares.
Yeah, Mr. Imoro, you say that the passengers should insist on paying the right fare. But if I'm in town and I'm stranded, and the driver tells me that if you don't pay this amount of money, I'm going to leave you behind, passengers are actually left with no option but to pay the unapproved fare. Shouldn't the concern rather be on the drivers to ensure that they don't charge unapproved fares?
Yes, it is not all drivers who are doing that. You can attest to that. It is not all drivers who are doing that. That is cheating. And as I said the other time, I have been saying, the driver having cheated on me, maybe the head of that union or that drivers where he's working. Most oftenly, it is the floating cars who does that. They don't belong to any union, so they are doing things on their own way. And even they are not supposed to work by the laws of the land. And they are working, they've been left free to work. And these are the people who are doing this. No union member who knows he's on the authority will do that. But he knows if he's being reported to his executives, he could be punished for that. So we are all aware that no union member does that.
Mr. Imaro, I can tell you on authority that some drivers, even at some designated lorry stations, are charging unapproved fares. But you say that it is mostly by the floating drivers. Isn't there anything we can do to stop these floating drivers from continuously charging these unapproved fares? I know that they don't belong to your union, but what can we do as a country?
Yes, the laws are there. We should report to the law enforcement agency. Even in Parliament, whenever any law is being passed, the law is not left in the hands of the law enforcement agencies. You see, it is not the duty of, for instance, you are talking to me now. I'm one of the executives. I have a union. I'm a chairman also over there. But I've never been cheated. Nobody has picked me and taken more than what he's supposed to take from me. It is the passengers, those who have been cheated. They have to report to the police, and the police will pick it up from there.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Saying.
Thank you very much, Mr. Imaro. We'll engage you further on subsequent bulletins on this matter. Away from that, Ghana faces critical road safety concerns with thousands of lives lost and many more injured on the nation's roads each year. Up to November this year, over 13,000 road crashes had been recorded, resulting in more than 2,600 deaths and thousands of injuries nationwide. On average, 8 people lose their lives daily due to irresponsible road user behavior, with speeding and reckless driving identified as leading contributing factors. In line with ongoing efforts to enhance road safety awareness and reduce the incidence of traffic crashes this festive season, the Ghana Road Authority is urging drivers to avoid drunk driving and reckless speeding. Speaking during the launch of a road campaign, Director in charge of Research, Monitoring and Evaluation, Alexander Ayata, also cautioned the media to be circumspect in advertising alcohol this festive season.
And all we can do is that we want to arrive alive. So on this season of Christmas and New Year, we expect that passengers will become co-drivers. They should advise the drivers when they are speeding. They should not rather insist that drivers are slow. After all, you want to arrive alive. The good thing to do is when you get out and you're getting back home and welcomed by your family, your kids in particular, not to go and remain outside, but to arrive alive. My advice and appeal to the media houses is to take note of something that we do often every evening after news. And I plead with all that after news, they should delay the time of advertisement on alcohol. At least 10 o'clock to 11 is not bad. So anytime we are on the highways, please, your speed limit must be looked at.
In more news this morning, the National Chief Imam Sheikh Dr. Usman Nuhu Sharbutu is urging Muslims in possession of unlicensed firearms to voluntarily surrender them in the interest of peace and national security. He assured that no one who complies will be arrested, stressing that peace remains paramount. The call was made when the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, through its gun amnesty program, paid a courtesy call on him to seek his support in amplifying the message of peace and encouraging the voluntary surrender of illicit weapons. There's more in the following report.
The rise in unlicensed firearms is becoming a growing security concern. Authorities say the weapon poses a threat to peace and public safety. To address the situation, the Ministry of Interior embarks on periodic gun amnesty programs, which allows people in possession of illegal firearms to surrender them without fear of arrest. The latest program which began the 1st of December, will end on the 15th of January. As part of efforts to promote compliance, officials of the Small Arms Commission paid a courtesy call on the National Chief Imam to seek his support. The Chief Imam welcomed the team and urged Muslims with unlicensed firearms to return them.
I'm pleading, I'm raising my voice and pleading to all young people of our country, all elders, all citizens who are in possession of arms without license to surrender them. In fact, I said, you surrender it by the assurance we have been given. You will not be prosecuted. You will not be arrested. Nobody will criminalize you. Because we are desirous of the peace of our country. Just as we are living in peace, on the foundation of the peace of our country, we ask Allah to elevate our country.
Executive Secretary of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, Adam Bona, says the response to the gun amnesty has been encouraging.
In Upper West, so far, just in the one municipality alone, we have had more than 100 weapons surrounded. Just in the Wa area alone, not the entire Upper West, but in the Wa area, it tells you people are surrendering. Some are calling us. We picked some AK-47s in the Volta region because the people had them and they were afraid. Once you call us, you call the police. Every police district in this country is part of the amnesty.
Meanwhile, security analyst Emmanuel Cotton is calling for additional measures to ensure the safe use of legally acquired weapons.
There are a lot of people who have registered weapons and they don't even know how to use them. Unlike in the developed countries where they have game parks where they train people on how to use these weapons, and there's some kind of internally generated funds for the ministry. We are not using that. So more often than not, even the registered weapons in the hands of civilians, many of them don't know how to use them, and that by itself is a threat to our security.
The National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons is hopeful that the gun amnesty program will reduce the number of illegal weapons in circulation and strengthen national security.
And the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Appiah-Ampfu, has urged students to take full advantage of practical, hands-on initiatives to enhance their skills and improve their chances of securing employment after graduation. She emphasized that in today's competitive job market, academic knowledge must be complemented with innovation, creativity, and real-world problem-solving abilities. Professor Appiah-Ampfu made the call during the commissioning of the University of Ghana Innovative Enclave, a state-of-the-art facility designed to bridge the gap between theory and practice.
The University of Ghana Innovation Enclave is a facility designed to foster innovation, creativity, and collaborative problem-solving. The facility integrates a maker space, an art studio, a training room, and an eatery to support the innovation journey. At the commissioning, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Appiah-Ampfu, charged graduates to be job creators and solution providers, not just job seekers. She added that bridging the critical gap between theoretical knowledge and practical application, the Innovation Enclave is a vital engine for achieving the university's vision.
And also to encourage our students that they should not keep in their shells. Indeed, yesterday I was a council meeting and I was very proud of our students, because they go on to the international stage and win championship.
In an interview, Pro-Vice-Chancellor in charge of Research, Innovation and Development, Professor Felix Ankoma Asante, encouraged students to actively use these facilities to develop practical skills that will prepare them for the world of work.
I would say that the students, this is for them, and we are putting in place procedures and formalities so that they can get the full benefits from it. So for students on campus, this is for you. Utilize it anytime. Come to the Innovation Enclave. We'll have staff there to get your concerns and also advice on the way forward. So students, this is yours.
University authorities say the Innovation Enclave is a key step towards positioning the University of Ghana as a hub for innovation and entrepreneurship.
This is where we drop the curtain on this morning's edition of GHD News. For more news, log on to starfm.com.gh. I am El-Nurein. Abass, many thanks to you for tuning in. On your screen next is GHD with Emmanuel Ejabing.